This video is going to be a little bit of an appreciation post, a little bit of just a shout out, giving respect to Jimmy Smith for retiring after 11 years as a Raven. I do find it curious that he retired after week 4 in 2022 and not earlier. I didn't listen to the press conference, to be honest with you, too busy doing content creation and other things. So maybe he explained that. And if he did, educate me in the comment section. Let me know, what he said, why the retirement was done now. I think it's pretty obvious that the door was left open on some level. Whether he said that publicly or not, obviously, I don't know, man. Tremendously underrated player. There might be people watch this video who are not Ravens fans, don't watch Ravens games consistently, and really don't understand how technical, how savvy, and smart and complete Jimmy Smith was when he was completely healthy. We know there's like 4 or 5 years in a row there where we're only getting 9, 10, 11, 12 games out of him, for various reasons. But even the older version of Jimmy Smith, 2019, 2020, and then a little bit in 2021, we saw flashes. Even the older version was able to provide stability, mentor players, but more than just mentor. It was showing them here's how you defend this, and the communication that I think he promoted just comes from a lineage of Ravens defenses that right now we're missing. Regardless of what we think about the Ravens defense and our record and our coaches, all those things, we do not have the same lineage now at all. At all. And Jimmy Smith was a link to that, and just wanted to give a shout out in my own way. And the only way that I feel like I can be entertaining is to show film. So, based on at least 3 people's requests, I went back and gathered some Jimmy Smith film. I actually had some saved from before the NFL got rid of Game Pass. Excuse me, before they got rid of the all 22 stuff from I think 2012 to 2015. They currently are on 2016, but I suspect that'll be gone after this year. So was able to go get a significant amount of film from 2016, 17, 18, 19, and a little bit from 20. So let's check it out. Some of it's going to be packaged, big plays that Jimmy Smith made, obviously. Some of it's just going to be good coverage. So here he is. I think it's AJ Green. 2017, I believe, gets an interception. Some of this video is going to skip a little bit, to be honest with y'all. Might be the recording software that I was using, I'm not sure. But when he's playing press man, Jimmy Smith is physical. He reminds me of Marlon Humphrey in some ways. A little bigger, maybe. A little taller in stature, but great ball skills. Very intelligent. Playmaker. We missed Jimmy Smith the years when he went down. I thought that was obvious. And if you're a new Ravens fan, you can relate to it in this way. The Dolphins game that we blew, in the fourth quarter, a lot of that was attributable to Marlon going out at the end of the fourth quarter, near the end of the third quarter, somewhere around in there. I think he missed the last 14 or 15 snaps of the game, maybe 16. Jimmy Smith, when he would leave the Ravens defense for injury or whatever reason, because I think one year he got suspended for some reason, you could tell. It just reduced efficiency. Not as good a communication. Jimmy Smith's a Raven. Just a Raven. Plays with pure passion. Made tons of plays like this one. No, he didn't have, I think he had 3 sacks for his career. If you want to come on here and quote stats, you're kind of like, hey, tell me you don't really know how to evaluate football without telling me you don't really know how to evaluate football. If all you want to do is talk about his stats. Because at the end, I'm going to show you some film of Jimmy Smith in 2016. Against Prime OBJ. Prime OBJ. The same OBJ that so many people are screaming the Ravens need to sign, and I'll be fine with that. I like OBJ. But I'm talking about Prime OBJ, the guy that was virtually indefensible. And we had a day where Jimmy Smith basically shut him down, locked him up, and then unfortunately went out with a concussion. And the moment he goes out with a concussion, OBJ starts getting off like crazy. This is a beautiful play, man. This is the type of route where sometimes corners will overreact to it. So we're going to let this develop and watch Jimmy not get too much width. He's just so patient. Nothing bothered him. See this little veer to the outside by the receiver? It's just designed to see if Jimmy will widen up and create a lane between Jimmy and the safety, which I think is Eric Weddle. And he just won't do it. He's patient. He understands the situation. Great feet, man. Great feet. And for not to have the reputation of being a burner, there's times where he's able to catch up to people And when you see the end zone angle, you're going to see why Jimmy Smith is pissed off here at the safety, Weddle, for trying to challenge it. Great ball skills, ability to high point the football. Game the Ravens won, in a blowout. But look at this. I mean, just tremendous timing. Fully healthy, the athleticism was, high enough to shut people down. I can't say off the charts athleticism, but pretty damn impressive, man. Much respect to a guy like Jimmy Smith, who played with legends, wasn't a legend himself, had that type of ability. If you ask me, physically and mentally, just health concerns, gave him problems. Late in the game, just smart, man, playing off, just staring in. This is very similar to Xavier Howard's near pick six against the Ravens in week 3 on a short pass to the outside to Rashad Bateman. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What your perception is of Jimmy Smith and his career. Like, I saw Ken, I think it was Ken said on Twitter, like, does he deserve to be in the Ring of Honor? Yes. Yes, I mean, he made the definitive stop in the Super Bowl. And it's not really even that fourth down coverage play. It's the play before that. Forcing the runner to be down, like, out of bounds at like the 2 or maybe the 3. Blitz from the bottom side against the Rams, 2019. This is old Jimmy Smith. Well, older, not prime athleticism for him. Gave us a great season in 2019, I thought. I thought he gave us a great season. Maybe the stats aren't there. You can have your stats, man. Give me guys like Jimmy Smith that can cover, that can communicate, that can tackle, make plays on the other side of the line of scrimmage. We had it good when we had guys like Jimmy Smith walking around the building. I always loved his stance, man. Just perfectly focused. Good knee bend. Ready to be an athlete. Third down, little under route. Kind of like this pseudo screen or rub. Looked like the number 2 receiver kind of veered outside, bringing this route into Jimmy and the receiver that's carrying it underneath. He's able to cut underneath of it, make the tackle. I mean, we saw dozens, hundreds of plays like that from him in his career. Didn't see enough of them because, he was out so much for injury. I'm not sure about you, but when I watch these games in these situations, I kind of like try to think to myself, where was I watching that game? Where was I at when I watched that game? This is the fourth down near touchdown by the Bills in 2019 up in Buffalo. We know the targeted receiver is going to be here, Marcus Peters, but watch how smooth and just patient Jimmy Smith is. There is no fear. He's not worried about getting beat deep. Like, I did a film study on Derek Stingley last week. Most of y'all didn't watch it because you Ravens fans don't watch anything unless it's Ravens stuff. And Derek Stingley is very scared, very worried about getting beat deep. So he'll be way off of people in many coverage situations. Jimmy Smith was never scared. It just, now as he got older, 2020, 2021, that situation probably changed some. That's how much they trusted Marlon, Jimmy, and Marcus Peters. I hated the call, but it gives you an indication of how much they trusted them, that they were going to bring everybody and just put those guys, in cover 0. Pretty much iconic image there, man, if you ask me. Shame how the season ended, obviously. Would have been great to see a guy like Jimmy Smith get his second Super Bowl. 2020, I thought he came in and gave us, good work. Initially lined up to the tight end. Him and another DB going to switch roles. And watch how he defends. This is Travis Fulgham. I know that a lot of people say bad things about Travis Fulgham, but this was like a 6-week stretch, maybe 5-week stretch in 2020 when Travis Fulgham was balling. And forgive the video for stuttering on you. Sorry about that. But great timing by Jimmy. And then ability to close. I mean, there is a PD in there, just so you know, pass deflected. Great timing. If you ask me, Jimmy Smith would make a fantastic coach. Not a good coach, a fantastic coach. His ability to communicate things, I mean, I've talked about it a couple times recently. The conversation he had with Marlon on the sideline, apparently talking about, how NFL teams are going to be able to block up and protect, particular blitz schemes based on personnel. Just a beautiful level of teaching. And those moments to me were like, it was like gold, just pure gold. All right, this lead up to this play lasts a while. Jimmy's up here. Looks like he's going to play press. And then we're going to go to some film from 2016 against prime OBJ and a very dangerous Victor Cruz. I think Cruz was past his best 2 seasons at that point, but still it was Victor Cruz and OBJ on the same team. Running back reverses field, and Jimmy's there for the tackle. He did everything. I mean, he would tackle. He would come up and hit to finish plays. One more play against the Eagles, I guess. My bad. Up top. Look at the burst. Commitment to come forward. That's the thing I like about this. There's a penalty on this. I don't even know if this counts, in terms of tackle and all that. But he sees it, and look, there's the right foot in the ground. You got that power angle. Boom. Downhill, burst. I mean, he's next to Marlon. That's Marlon 2 years ago, so he was younger. Look at the burst. Old man Jimmy Smith gave us some damn good games and some damn good reps. And I'm trying to be respectful of that and call it to attention. And hopefully illustrate for people that are new Ravens fans, like, if you had a prime Jimmy Smith on this team right now, a prime Jimmy Smith with the current version of Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey, your defense would be straight. All right, let's look at a little bit of film. 2016 against the Giants. I think that's Victor Cruz, and I believe OBJ is down here. I'm not sure if this is Cruz or not. It looks like it might be Cruz down the bottom. But that's definitely Jimmy up to the top. OBJ in motion. My bad, I got both of them wrong. Not a pretty tackle. When you see end zone angle, you're going to be like, Coach, that's not how you form tackle. No, it is not. No, it is not. But if we had this guy, this version of Jimmy Smith on the 2022 Ravens, well, let's just say it. We're probably 4-0 right now. Because I don't know if you noticed, Marlon Humphrey put it to Stephon Diggs when they were matched up against each other on Sunday. He did. Jimmy Smith would have done the same thing. Jimmy Smith healthy was elite. Period. And fit perfectly with Marcus Peters, because Peters is a left corner and Jimmy's a right corner. That's not actually Marcus Peters down here on the bottom side of the screen, just letting you know that they fit together in terms of the side of the field that they normally played on. I'm going to show you a little bit of film. Some of it's probably a little extra because it doesn't really involve Jimmy. Just trying to show a little bit of appreciation for him. Yeah, this is one of them. My bad. See Eric Weddle's on the team. All right, we're going to go to the next one. I think there's 2 plays here. This is Jimmy against OBJ. I think this first one is a vertical. I might be wrong. Yeah, it's a play where Eli Manning knows that he's got a free play. And look at the challenge. Like, when you pull this back, at this point here, this is prime OBJ. This is not the OBJ that's around now, or even the one from, when he was with Cleveland. Past his prime. This is prime OBJ. Jimmy's able to get there and challenge. Yeah, the ball's a little underthrown. Okay, fine. Point being, when Jimmy Smith was in the game against OBJ that day, and I watched film, I went back and got 6 possessions. He shut him down. He gave it to Victor Cruz, too. He was elite when healthy. Elite when healthy and 100%. And gave this team, the types of reps that, we only get from Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters now. Great challenge. That's what you got with Jimmy Smith, man. That's what you got. Pull this forward a little bit. Show you guys 2 more plays and then be out. Let me know if you appreciate this, what you think of Jimmy's career. Me trying to show you a little bit of film of him. Awesome stance, man. Ready to go. Probably his helmet, face mask might be offside, but he's trying to get into this receiver. That's Cruz. And this is the part I like the most. He just tried to basically slam the guy back. They got the first down on 3rd and 1. I think it's Victor Cruz. And he taps him on his helmet. That's Jimmy Smith, man. There was never a moment that was too big for Jimmy Smith. He reminds me of like those guys that are born to be musicians. They can like just get up on stage at age 9 and perform. Jimmy Smith, no moment was too big for him. None. There was never a moment when he appeared to be anxious or off task. One of my favorite Ravens that doesn't get enough credit, for real. I like those kind of guys, man. The Josh Byneses, the Pernell McPhees. The guys that we don't really talk about them. in certain circles, we don't talk about him. Like social media wouldn't be talking about him today for real. Well, they would be if they were 100%. Appreciate you guys checking the video out on Jimmy Smith. One of the Ravens guys that should really be looked at as as someone that helped bring us the Super Bowl, that magical season that so many people that aren't Ravens fans look at it and say, "Oh, it's the luckiest Super Bowl ever." But those people are just ignorant, and I don't mean ignorant like they don't know how to behave in society. I mean ignorant of the circumstances. The Ravens were the best team in football for those 2 years. Period. I think we were 9-2 or maybe 10-2, and suddenly a bunch of injuries struck us and we barely snuck into the playoffs. But fully healthy, that was the best team in the league, and it wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. There was just and the people who can't understand that is the people who didn't watch football back then, so they just look at the records. How did a 10-6 team win the Super Bowl? Or they're the type of people who watch football, but their brain doesn't allow them to comprehend it, and we got a lot of them running around too. So Jimmy Smith was on the other end of that spectrum. Football savant, blessed with athletic ability and the motivation or desire, to try to be one of the best. And I think he was. When he was perfectly healthy, when he had the opportunity to be on the field, man, he just gave this team and this franchise such a boost. I'm so glad they gave him his own retirement situation. And it wasn't in the off season, so maybe that's why it was done now. And maybe, again, I didn't watch it. No time for those things. Trying to create content for you guys to enjoy. So let me know what you think of Jimmy Smith's career, what you think of my attempt to shed some light and show some respect to him, and how he was able to play when he was fully healthy. I think the results are on the film. I wasn't going to show you 30 plays. I think I only showed you like 14 or 15. One of my favorite guys that we were blessed to have in this organization. And we need more people like Jimmy Smith. We need more guys that's there for the team, that's there for this team for the long haul. Appreciate you guys checking the video out. Please consider sharing this on social media if you think other Ravens fans would enjoy a look back at some of the highlights from Jimmy Smith's career.